Steve Race is the Labour MP for Exeter and a member of the Science, Innovation and Technology Select Committee. He's also chair or vice chair of different all-party groups, including on pharmacy and on key cities. Particularly relevant for our purposes is that he has a private member's bill on phasing out the use of animals in medical research, and it's titled Animals in Medical Research Prohibition Bill. Now, as I said, unfortunately, he couldn't join us today, but he did send us a little video in which he explains his motivations for why he proposed this bill and his thinking and a bit of a personal background to it as well, which I thought was really interesting. So I'm just going to play that, and then we'll move to our second speaker right away.
Hello everyone, I'm sorry I can't be with you today due to parliamentary business that's ongoing. I was delighted to be invited and would have very much liked to be there with you to discuss this really important topic. I was going to talk to you about my sister. She was born when I was 10 with a rare genetic condition, Hurler syndrome, which meant that she was severely disabled, and she died 2 days before her 10th birthday. In many ways, she's the driving force behind my work in politics, but also my interest in science and technology. I was, of course, really interested growing up in her condition. I came early to concepts of genetics. I could say the term mucopolysaccharide and broadly understand what it meant. And I was interested in treatment developments. While my sister was born slightly too soon for effective treatments beyond bone marrow transplants, for example, these do now exist in the form of gene therapies. And this has meant that I believe in the power of scientific advancement. I know what it's like to meet people who've benefited in the ways that my sister could not. That's meant that in the past, I was supportive, obviously, of the ban on the use of animals in cosmetics, but I thought that if using animals could help deliver new treatments, could help treat people's illnesses and diseases better, then morally that could be justified. Now, my visit to the University of Exeter's Animal Free Research UK Centre of Excellence changed my mind. I was blown away by the complex cellular research that was being developed, all without the use of animals or animal derivatives. And as you know, my private member's bill is modelled on Herbie's law as proposed by Animal Free Research UK. AFR have been instrumental in changing the perceptions of the reasoning behind the use of animals in medical research. By focusing on the scientific alternatives such as organoids and organ-on-chip technology and the ways in which the use of animals does not always necessarily mean the science is best practice or has the best efficacy, I believe they have been able to gain far better traction on our goal to phase out animals in medical research. I've been working with AFR in Parliament by hosting drop-ins to showcase these new scientific methods, and we've been able to reach a broad range of politicians, including science and health ministers, to change their perceptions too. There are other politicians in Parliament who are working as hard on this issue as well, including Irene Campbell MP, securing debates and laying questions to government so that there is pressure for change. And I'm pleased that we've been able to have time with the Life Sciences Minister, Lord Patrick Vallance. I discussed with him the next steps to deliver on the Labour Party manifesto promise, which is to partner with scientists, industry and civil society as we work towards the phasing out of animal testing. Lord Vallance is very receptive, and given his background is aware of the science and of the potential roadblocks. He's overseeing the upcoming strategy roadmap that will work towards delivery of that promise. By April, he had seen a draft, and my expectation is that the launch of the publication is imminent. This will be a landmark moment in the UK on this issue, ensuring that it's the best strategy that it can be, that it stretches the sector, including academia, to reach this goal, is the next crucial step. Then, delivering on that strategy and holding the government and the sector to account for delivery. None of this would have happened without the people at this conference right now, generating the arguments and the science that we can use in Parliament and elsewhere to press the case. So I want to thank you to everyone here today for all the hard work that has got us to this point. I know you have a fantastic conference lined up, and I hope you find it a stimulating and rewarding few days. Thank you very much.